That's right, boys and girls, it's time to review Yu Hakusho. Let's get it started. Spirit Gun! Yu Hakusho. Yeah, man. Alright, so Yu Hakusho, if you haven't seen it already, I'm going to tell you right now to go out and watch it. Yu Hakusho is the show starring Yusuke Urameshi, who is a high school student, and he is a delinquent. You know, he just goes around and does whatever the hell he wants. He gets into fights occasionally, and he's basically the troublemaker. But, you know, like all animes of the main protagonist, he's not the troublemaker that we all think he is. He's a good guy, but he just doesn't really care about his schoolwork or anything. But why should he? Of course, why should he? His mother is an alcoholic, his friends really just, you know, they get on his ass or whatever, the teachers are dicks. But you know he's the right guy from a couple of things you see him do before something happens. Now, doing the ultimate right thing, giving his life to save a child who's in the street, he saves the kid's life and gets hit with a car and dies. Now, why am I spoiling this for you? Because this is the very first episode, my friends, and here we go. He dies and comes back as a ghost, where he meets Botan of the spirit world, who is the Grim Reaper. She doesn't even look like the Grim Reaper, man, not what you'd expect, and even Yusuke addresses that in the show. It's like, hey, you're not the Grim Reaper. You're supposed to be all bony and stuff, and you're a chick. He is offered a deal by the Lord of Spirit World, who says, hey, I'm going to give you your body back. You don't know why yet, but basically the deal is, yeah, he's gonna get a second chance at living for helping that kid. But Yusuke denies it at first. He doesn't want to, but then, of course, after going to his own funeral and seeing how people are either laughing or they're grieving over his death, and let me tell you something, man. This is kind of a hard scene to watch, man. It is really hard to watch them tear up. The hardest part to watch is the Kuwabara scene, where Kuwabara runs in. Kuwabara is his arch rival and eventually best friend. He's his arch rival. They fight every single day. They go at it, and Kuwabara basically, he has nobody to fight. He has no reason, he says, to live, and is walking tearing up at his picture. It is so hard, man, and it's well done, I gotta say. After seeing this, he says, okay, fine, I want to come back. And he goes through a series of trials to come back. And that's all well and good, but that's only, of course, part of the first season. Now, after Yusuke does come back, of course he's going to come back. This whole series is not about him being a ghost. He is not only back, but there was a catch, of course. He's going to be the new spirit detective of Otherworld, man, of the demon world. He's going to be the new spirit detective, which is basically a detective who fights demons. It's kick-ass, dude. That's a great plot. And he gets some really awesome toys and items and abilities as he goes through this. I'm saying this like it's a video game, but it's really cool. The first move, of course, you see is the infamous, or not infamous, but famous Spirit Gun. He gets some other really cool stuff, though. He gets a magnifying glass. They can see through clothing and walls and items. That's really cool. He gets a ring that enhances the power of his spirit gun. This is really cool, but they don't use the items outside of the first season, which really disappoints you at first, but then again, you're not. It's all fine. He even gets this really cool watch that can detect demon spirit energy around him. Apparently, those things have a really low rating because eventually that thing explodes from a bunch of spirit energy around him. Now, that's all fine. But what about the other characters? Are they as cool? Do they hold up? Hell yes. Not only they got Kuwabara, but you got Kurama, who is a really cool character when you first see him. You know, he's, of course, the fan service character for all the girls. He looks, yeah, like that. He's like basically the Bakura, only he's not as powerful. Kurama's kick-ass, dude. He's got a lot of wicked abilities, and he's got a really great backstory. You meet Hiei, who is the obvious favorite character. He's the Vegeta of the Yu Hakusho world. He even has hair like Vegeta. And he kicks ass, dude. He's lightning fast. He's a master swordsman. Man, he can kick Yusuke's ass any day. Or can he? As you can tell, I'm really excited to talk about this series because this is one of my favorite American animes ever. I saw this thing on Adult Swim when it first came out. I loved every episode of it. I saw it. I even bought the DVDs today. My favorite saga, of course, though, is the Dark Tournament saga. And yes, there is a tournament saga, my friends, where it's demon versus demon, human versus demon, fighting it out, spirit power versus demon ability. That is so cool. Now, Yu Hakusho only runs for 4 seasons, but I gotta tell you, it feels complete, and the powers, they get so much better, the stories get cooler, you meet great villains. Now, one of the more popular villains from, of course, the Dark Tournament Saga is Toguro, who is a muscle man, dude. He is just invincible, he's like a tank. But you do meet really cool villains along the way. One is Rando, who can copy the abilities of other spirit powers. And you do see a lot of those. He's a great villain. And the first couple of villains in there, I'm not going to spoil who they are, but if you've seen the show, you know who they are, and you know it's awesome. Now, the detective aspect of the show is not really there. They could have called this show something else. They could have called it Spirit Demon Fight Fest, and that would have been good enough. Spirit Detective only really goes up to, here's a case, go fight these demons. There's no real looking through this, investigating all this, you know, we're going to find this out. There's none of that. It's just pulse-pounding action, not the links of DBZ or stuff like that, but it is great. The action is well done when it is there. Their powers are great. The voice acting, I would say, is good. The music, though the scores, they play the same scores every episode, the score is good. And I love the opening song. That is a really fun opening song. And like I said, the seasons get better. Dark Tournament Saga, however, my favorite season. That season itself just pumps me up. I'm just like, yeah, come on, fuck. In the end, Yu Hakusho is a really cool show. It has great characters, great story, great powers for the characters. It all around just a badass show. It becomes more of an action anime as it progresses than it does a detective series, though it is a little bit of a detective series in the beginning when it gets its body. It's definitely one that I highly recommend that you see, and the anime weekend review for this show, the final rating for it is a 9 out of 10. That's right. This may be a little too high for Yu Hakusho, but my nostalgic value, my love for the series, and just it all being an all-around great show, I can't give it anything lower. If you haven't seen anything about Yu Hakusho, go out and watch it. You won't be disappointed, trust me. And that, my friends, is the review of Yu Hakusho, and I will see you guys on the next Anime Weekend. Go!